This is Kenny Clark, and this is Lombardi's Bar.
This is one of my favorite podcasts to do.
I'm just, blessed and thankful to be a part of this podcast. It's a great podcast, it's a great interview.
Maybe I know that you guys obviously being the best Packers podcast that's out there.
I had Malort this weekend, so I'm not tasting anything.
Oh, good.
He did.
God.
He did. That was fantastic.
Because it said, "Did you ever try Malort?" And I said no. And then it said, "Do you want to take a shot of Malort?" I said no, but I did.
Wait, who said
It's called peer pressure.
Yeah. I tried getting a high honors English class once, and they called my parents and were like, "Hey, just tell him he can't do it."
It shows. It really shows.
I hate you guys so much.
I'm going to throw these two guys into the screen so that if I die, they can carry on the legacy of crap that is this show.
Welcome in, everybody, to another edition of Lombardi's Bar here on the Game On Wisconsin YouTube channel. Make sure that you take a second to go right now, hit subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get notified every time we go live here on the channel. Not just our show, but all the shows across our wonderful network. Yes, Emma, the Victory Chain is retired until the end of April when we draft 3 offensive tackles in the top 50 picks, and that's when the Victory Chain comes back out. Lots of pain, lots of just feelings coming into today's show. It's a mixed bag of emotion. It's a cosmic mix, one might say. The Packers season is officially over in a similar fashion as we've seen in recent years. Different feeling about it, though. Maybe. Yes. No. Let's bring these guys into it to talk about it. It's Todd Varney. It's Jimmy Christensen. Boys, how are you doing? How are you handling the low Riz energy after the divisional round?
I'm over it now. I was pretty pissed. I went into the game nervous, just thinking like, we're not going to win this. We're here, whatever. And then that end of the third quarter, when Aaron Jones had that big 50-yard run, I was convinced at that moment that we won the game. And then so when we lost, then I was like, God damn it. I went from zero expectation, like, hey, whatever, to we won this game, and then just crashed back down. So it was I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm not over it actually. Now talking about it again, I think I lied. I don't think I'm over it.
I'm good, actually. I mean, I think this season overall went a lot better than expected. And just like going into this game, I had, like Jimmy, no expectations of winning, but was like, they could. It'd be pretty cool if they did. And it was after that Jones run, I was like, man, if they lose, it's going to take just something stupid and like typical Packer playoff luck to happen. And then there was just a culmination of stupid Packer playoff luck that you were like, there it is. But I think because it was a game that like I didn't have expectations for, I wasn't like super high on, this team potentially, going to winning a Super Bowl. I think I was over it pretty quick.
I'm trying to think. Did you
don't try too hard?
I know it's tough for me. I had like 3 points I wanted to say, so I started to say all of them at once. It didn't work out. After that missed field goal, did you just know we lost the game though?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that was the thing. It's like I looked at Des, and bless her soul, but I was like, hey, we lost the game. She goes, no, there's time left. I got dead serious. I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. We lost the game. Like I got so probably the meanest I've been to her in a while. It was just dead serious. You don't know what you're talking about.
Honestly, I felt like unless they didn't score a touchdown on that last drive to put them up by 2 scores, they weren't going to win that game. Because even if they kick the field, they make the field goal and they go up by 7, right? They're not stopping them. It's going to be the same scenario on defense coming back the other way. that game gets tied up and it's going to overtime. And I don't trust what this team could do in overtime like that. Because at that point, then it's that mentality of you had the game won and then you lost it instead of you gained the opportunity to win, you know? And I don't think I don't think this team does well in overtime like that.
Well, especially when the defense is that gassed.
Right.
I mean, it was
Right. Because if San Francisco gets the ball in an overtime situation like that, game over. Like you're not going toe to toe with them.
No.
Yep.
It was just, I think the thing that pissed me off was like on the checklist of things you needed to happen in that game to win, everything happened.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
Purdy was bad. McCaffrey, like, yeah, he had, 98 yards rushing. At the end of the day, the Packers holding him in 98 yards rushing is a success. Like, that is a win for the team.
Yeah.
You don't wish for injuries, but Debo getting hurt, that only helped the team. Our defense actually playing well, and it's just all those things that happen.
Getting pressure on Brock Purdy.
Game pressure on Brock Purdy. Like,
yeah,
that was – Dobbs was stepping up again. Like, Watson, he was in the game. He didn't really do much. It was just still, though.
Corey K highlights. I mean, I think the one that I think we all saw when he drops that pick six, I had an instant feeling like that's going to be a turning point. That's going to be a big note moving forward. Even if he doesn't pick six it, not getting that interception and not keeping that in the back of his mind or anything like that is it just ends up being a bad throw.
Even Nixon too.
I had the YouTube TV delay and saw Twitter just being like, Savage, no. And I was like, oh, what happened? Oh, what happened?
That YouTube TV delay it's usually
rough.
The worst, but then there's sometimes where you're like, it's a big crucial play and I forget and I look at Twitter and I'll see that we got it converted and I don't know. It also takes anxiety away sometimes because I'm like, okay, fuck it. I know we got this.
Yeah, I try to only look at it during commercials as much as I can because then I'm like, cool. And it's nice there, especially if there's like an injury timeout. Because who was it? When Ja got hurt and they went to commercial. And like by the time I opened Twitter for the commercial break, they were like, he got up and jogged off the field.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm good. I'm good.
It's such a delay.
Or you see like the like result of a challenge or a review or something like that. Yeah. Those are the only times. I'm with you. Yeah, I can't take it. I can't take opening up Twitter in the middle of a drive like that. Yeah, no, this was a rough one because yes, I came into this with no expectation of what this team was going to do, trying to keep expectations tempered about going into San Francisco again like this. And just like Jimmy said, like once things started to just sort of happen, you start to believe. And I think, I forget who said it on Twitter. Somebody wrote, I didn't expect them. I'm not surprised that they lost. I am surprised in the way that they lost. They lost like an Aaron Rodgers. They
lost like a Packer team loses.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but this isn't a normal Packer team.
Look, I've had this conversation with Bears fans about how.
Sorry, this is always a good start to anything that's going to happen.
I don't care that it's a new regime that's getting loaded up with all these first round picks that they're going to blow and how they're going to not know how to spend all this money that they have to spend. They have an organizational history of failing to put the right people in place, regardless of who is there, who is making the selections, who's coaching, who's on the field. Organizationally, that's just how they operate. Unfortunately for the Packers, I don't know that it matters who's on the field. Organizationally, in big moments in the playoffs, this is what happens. So hopefully we see that turn around. Like we saw it. Favre was able to do it for a couple of years. Rodgers did it. Like hopefully they can get that turned around for more than 1 year at a time. But until then, like whether it's the same people on the field or not, this is what happens to the Packers.
But see, this one feels different
Because it's the opening of a window rather than a closing.
But I think it's more than that, because think back. Let's go back the last 5-6 years here. NFC Championship loss in San Francisco. We got absolutely pantsed. That's different. That's getting shut down. The Bucks. That's a comedy of errors all up and down on both sides of the ball. San Francisco 2 years ago. That is the only one that feels similar to this one. And it feels different because it was the closing of a window versus this. This though, this is even different from that, because this team came into San Francisco and dominated the action for 3/4 of the game, basically. And it was just one or two things there at the end that go differently. And we're talking about a conference championship game. Like that's
one or two things go differently at the end of that Bucks game, and we're talking about a Super Bowl.
But is this something though that's unique to the Packers? Like, I just feel if you're not talking about Patrick Mahomes, but that's what I'm saying. If we're saying it's like an organizational thing, like take away the Tom Brady team and the Patrick Mahomes, to even get to this, like this happens to literally every team. Like you have these weird failures, and sometimes you never make it back to the Super Bowl, like we've seen for our last regime. The time before that, Favre only did it twice. Like, I don't think it's a Packer thing. I just think you need luck to go your way, and it just hasn't been on our side.
Too much gets put on the San Francisco thing. Like it just so happens to be the Niners that you run into every time. Like it's not like they have some secret sauce that they're the only people that can beat us. Like it just so happens to end up being them. You know, like it very easily could have been the Cowboys this year. If the Cowboys,
I wouldn't go that far, but
yeah,
I get the point you're trying to make.
Anyway,
but yeah, I get what you're saying. You're right. Yeah,
Saturday sucked.
It was shitty. I don't know, but onwards and upwards, as they say. Even though, I don't know, it still sucks. I do hate the whole like we'll be back. Like we'll be back in the playoffs, but you can't bring this of like we're a young team, we're automatically going to be a Super Bowl contender. Like, yeah, that is a big fucking jump to say that.
I mean, it's like Kay Adams put it really well on her show today. It's you can be happy about like the future and excited, but like at the end of the day, this team could have had a really good shot to make a Super Bowl this year. They had the 49ers right where they wanted them. And then you get a toss-up game basically against either the Lions or the Bucks going into Sunday for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. You could beat both of those teams. And then you get to the Super Bowl and anything happens. This was a blown opportunity by this team. And like you said, Jimmy, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. They have the window is there, but it does not mean that you will be back.
Yeah. I don't know. Be what it be, but like the future is bright. I wasn't trying to say that, but I just don't. The whole
should be acknowledged. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole we'll be back thing is not comforting me right now, because we were back a lot from 2010 to last year too, and none of that came to fruition. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Do you guys want to buy a round?
Let's do it.
After this game, pick it up a little bit. Todd, who would you like to buy a round for?
I'm going to go with a guy that was on my pay the tab quite a bit, on my shit list even more. Credit where credit is due. Josh Myers. The last month, I haven't had to yell at my TV, hey, look, Josh Myers didn't touch anyone on that play very often. So I'm going to buy a round for him. Play much better, and we've seen the run game really take off as he started to play better as well. So I'll buy him around.
Now that you're done, Josh Myers and be on here all the time next year.
Probably.
He was just wait. He kept messaging Dan, be like, "Once Todd's off the fucking show, I'll be there." I've been on the pay the tab too often.
Which is fair.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that whole offensive line, up and down, stepped up, huge.
Fucking Rasheed Walker. That clip going around of him handling Bosa one-on-one and just knocking him on his ass. If there was any moment for that beautiful man to dry hump somebody on the ground again like he did in college, that was the moment. And he fucked it up. I just want to say that. Great rep, but that was a perfect dry hump.
That's the 15-yard penalty I'm okay with this team getting.
Right?
That Chamorro was talking about. Not hurting Brock Purdy, but a rookie, 6th, 7th rounder, humping Bosa on the field. Take it. I don't even care. I don't even care if they mark off 15.5 yards.
The two things he hates the most, the LGBT community and not white people, just both coming at him at one time. You know it's just gonna hurt him.
Christ.
Tell me I'm wrong, Dan.
I won't say you're right or wrong. I think you might just be on.
Was he at January 6th with you?
I don't know. Look at the picture. Is he on there?
Can't confirm, won't deny.
Jimmy, who'd you like to buy around for?
Yeah, I'm going with a friend of the show, Romeo Dobbs. At times this year was quiet. A big red zone target. He'd make some splash plays, but holy shit, he was dominant in the playoffs. Led so far to this point, leads all receivers with receiving yards, 234. The next closest is Mike Evans, who is a really good fucking wide receiver with 195. He has 6, again, leads all wide
receivers. The playoffs?
Through the playoffs. Those two
okay.
games. Sorry, yeah, through the games.
It's like
and then he has 6 catches for 20 plus yards. Again, leads all the wide receivers in the playoffs. Just a dominant performance. Anytime there's a big play needed, it seems like it was Dobbs. That play is going to be on Jordan Love highlight reels of that. Again, probably more so for Love's pass, but even Dobbs having to fall back to catch it, just part of that kind of solidifies a nice little highlight for him. That Cowboys one.
The one that Andy, I think.
Oh, hey, Jimmy, you might not know this. We had a show last week where we talked about the Cowboys game.
Cool.
We're talking about the 49ers.
Yeah, game. I don't know if you know this, but I'm talking about the accumulation of the playoffs, which include both games.
Oh, why don't we just do it like an accumulation of the season?
That's
or maybe you could have just showed up last week and talked about the Cowboys game.
I told you guys weeks in advance I would not be here last week.
I'm not mad at you. Don't say guys like a plural.
Well, no, I was just stating that I told both of you. Todd's the only one being a dick. You've done nothing, Dan. You were great.
I just don't know why we're talking about the Cowboys again. We've moved on.
It's what I'm.
I was highlighting Dobbs' dominant playoff performance, and that game he had
from
a great
2
moment.
weeks ago. No, that's cool.
This game he also was great and fantastic, and had 2 back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. Like, he was great. Dobbs, I'll buy you around, even if Todd's being a dick.
Andy Gilbert talked about the route to the 10-yard line there. That was another. I mean, just those were the kind of plays that it's like that's what makes you feel really good about this team. Is like if they can continue to do those kind of things, make those kind of plays. That's the difference between being a playoff team and being the Bears.
What's that thing on your January 6th picture about the saying that we had on it? You were feeling something somewhere. That's how I felt on that route.
You're mixing up your Dan memes, Jimmy.
Okay, sorry, my bad. My bad.
No,
there's quite a few of them, dude. I can't keep them straight.
You're referring to a little tingle in your downtown tinsel.
That's it. Yeah, I had a little tingle.
But the one on the January 6th
one is fuck me up,
fuck
daddy.
Me up, daddy. Yeah, both of those honestly apply to the situation because I was thrilled. Yeah, sorry. Oh my gosh.
I am gonna buy a round for a guy who I think really needs one after Saturday, and that is Anders Carlson. I mean, I am not happy that his missed field goal is essentially what ended up losing the game to a certain extent. But at the same time, I'm really kind of tired of hearing the talk about getting rid of him after the very first year. I did some fun research that I'd love to share with you guys. Anders Carlson this year made 100% of his kicks from between 30 and 39 yards. That is higher than Mason Crosby's entire career and higher than Mason Crosby's first 4 years as a kicker. 50 plus yards, he hit 60% of his field goals. That is higher than Mason Crosby's entire career and his first 4 years as a starter.
I feel like the first 4 years is probably what you can compare it to, because if you do the whole career,
that's why,
like,
that's why the first Mason Crosby's first 4 years, surprisingly, dog shit.
Yeah.
They were not good. He missed 8 field goals in his first season. Mason did 7 in the second, 9 and 6. Carlson missed 6 field goals this year. 4 of them were between 40 and 49 yards. That to me says that those are just a matter of just unlucky things happening in those few kicks rather than an overall problem. If he was missing sporadically across all distances, that's a warning sign. This to me just says he's a young guy that needs to get his sea legs under him a little bit. Give him some time. Give him a chance. The kid's going to be okay. It just so happened that this time cost you a chance to go to the conference championship. But I'll say, conversely, if you don't go for it on that 4th down play and kick the field goal, there's probably 3 points because that's within the range that he was 100% in. So there's your made up 3 points. So in a sense, they're leaving points off the board by not letting him kick in certain situations. So I will give a shout out to Anders Carlson. You're still my dude. I got big hopes for you, buddy. Big dreams.
It's one of those things, and Andy put it in there too. You can't put it all on him. Like we already mentioned, the 2 interceptions, that 4th down, it was the right call to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You got a bad spot. That's not something that they're going to overturn because of irrefutable evidence. Like that's just not going to happen. There's so many other things that went to that point to where like to put it all on him is just completely asinine. But the X points and things going into it, you got to just make extra points. Like that is what it is. But like you said, he is a young kid. Like we got to give him some time. We preach all the time with these players, like, oh, they draft them, they let them sit and develop for most cases. He was one of the unlucky few. And I don't want to say unlucky. He's one of the few that was just thrown in right away. So we kind of got to see those first year growing pains in a highlighted spot because that's him when he's on the field. Like whenever Carlson's on the field, you're only focused on him because he makes or breaks it. And it's unfortunate for a rookie, but that's part of it. And fans, we got to chill the fuck out. Like the best kick, Justin Tucker will miss some here and there. And that guy is the best of all time.
And if you go back to 2012 was Mason Crosby's worst season. Since then, he turned it around and has been he's been an amazing kicker for 16 years basically, but 2012 was his worst one. After that, now you're looking at 10 plus years of solid kicking game. So we're a little bit spoiled at this point. Yeah. Like if we're not going to throw Jordan Love under the bus for the first half of this season and let him develop, let Anders Carlson develop. He has far fewer chances than Jordan Love does to get NFL experience.
And so, I don't know, I think it shows our confident. Like people are happy that they brought in a kicker to give them competition. There's a reason they brought in that kicker. It is a figment of your imagination. That's a competition. It is not a competition. That kicker sucks. There's a reason the Vikings cut him before a preseason game. He sucks. He's there for the illusion of competition. It's Carlson's job next year. Unless this guy starts fucking doing Dean Lowry horse PEDs, it's his job.
I would assume they're going to bring in another kicker at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Between now and then, like, this isn't the only competition that he's going to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like, it's going to be, at some point, they're going to bring in somebody else. I think this is just, hey, it's an off-season guy that we can work out. We see something with him that we like. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear. I'm not saying don't bring in any competition for him, because who knows where the hell your next kicker could. And the fucking Cowboys brought in a guy that was drafted in the first round of the MLS, and he was one of the best kickers this year. Like, you could find a guy that becomes this diamond in the rough and comes out of nowhere at training camp and blows the doors off Anders, and you move on.
But that's what it's going to take, though, I think. Like, for him to get displaced, it's going to have to
Yeah.
take, like, a holy shit, this guy's
Yeah,
incredible.
and I think, though, the same thing with the competition, too, is, like, you just bring in more guys to get around him, and it's veterans, guys that have been in the league. Give him pointers. They work out. They talk more. He gets more comfortable. It's all part of the process, baby. Just trust the process. Andy's right. At least we do have a punter, though. I'm very happy with that.
Todd's favorite.
Yeah. Speaking of Todd, I think Todd is on Jimmy's Wi-Fi.
I was thinking, I got so thrilled. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't gonna say anything. I was like, finally. It took 4 years, but it's not just me.
Well, Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and have your pay the tab up here first?
Hey, real quick though, can we also, as we're
No, we can't do anything you're saying because I don't know what the fuck you're trying to say.
No dice, Alexander Graham Bell. Figure that out. Just been moving for over a minute. Jimmy, who needs to pay the tab?
Yeah, this one's just this irked the shit out of me. But seeing Packer fans get so butthurt about the George Kittle appearance on the Pat McAfee show, talking shit to Ty Schmidt, to AJ Hawk about them beating the Packers. Like, I don't know if they know that the shit we say to Bears fans and Vikings fans and other rivals, the shit we would have said if we beat the 49ers, and we don't even play the game. Why can't a guy who's in there, who's been a rival to this team, talk shit to people that, one, he's buddies with, and two, like, they're fans of the opposing team that they just beat? Like, that's what drove me nuts. Like, this is classless. This is
who said that?
Just, it was on Twitter. Like, I lost respect for George Kittle. This is classless. Shut the fuck up. We say way worse on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw he said something. I didn't see exactly what he said though. Was it just?
It was just like friendly banter with. They brought Ty Schmidt on, like the big Packer fan, and immediately he just flips him off, and he goes, "Go Pack, go the fuck home." And it's just like, that's like, who cares?
Yeah,
like, why are we mad about that? Like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
it's a rivalry,
right? If it's not getting personal or anything like that, like, that's what you want out of players. Like, that I want to see the personality. I don't want to see I hate the. I'm not singling out him, but like the Russell Wilsons of the world that just give you coach speak all the time. And it's like, Russell Wilson just lost the Super Bowl and he's all just, yeah, that's what it is, man. It's what it is. Like, we'll figure it out. I'm like, no, like, show some emotion, be a person. Like,
yeah.
Todd is frozen on 2 separate screens.
I know, I saw that too.
Okay. I think he's back in. Todd?
Maybe. I'm running off my
sound is delayed by like 2 seconds. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm hot spotting right now, so we'll see.
He's back.
We're back on.
Sweet. Yeah, here we are. No, I just wanted to throw in fuck Tom Rinaldi, as we were talking about Anders Carlson, like the comment that he made. Did I miss that conversation or no?
What
I don't.
Tom Rinaldi.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I
don't know so he came out and said during the game that Matt LaFleur told him anytime Anders is out there, Matt just prays.
The praise.
And LaFleur was like, yeah, I mean, that was a joke. So, okay. So, yeah, fuck Tom Rinaldi for that one.
One thing, shout out to The Athletic with Robert Mays and Nate Tice. The episode they had was even before LaFleur got to clarify that the next day. They even said, like, this, like, we've talked to LaFleur multiple times. People are making too big of a deal. Like, it's a joke. Like, that's his personality. And even like LaFleur said, what else can you do when a kicker goes out there? Like, or any of your players go out there, all you can think is, I hope this works. Like, what Matt has zero control. Of course, all he's going to do is he's going to say a joke like that to make light of it. But yeah, what a fucking douche.
Is he your pay the tab, Todd?
No, he's not.
Who would you like to have pay the tab?
The next Packers defensive coordinator.
Just preemptively.
Yeah. I mean, let's all be excited. Joe Barry's gone. That's what we were all hoping for at the end of this year. Most of us during the year. And in true Packer fan fashion, I am already sick of the next one. He doesn't run the right coverages, and I'm sick of it. So let's fire him too.
Next year, can we just get random videos of you, send them to us, and we'll just play them on one when the punter messes up, because that's going to happen, and two, just for the DC take, and then obviously the next week immediately saying how we should extend him.
Yeah, I mean, let's go back again real quick. Touch on Anders Carlson. Speaking of punters, you guys saw the picture of the hold, right? It was a terrible snap, but the hold, that ball was at like a 45-degree angle.
No, the snap was terrible.
The hold was garbage. Who holds that?
I thought
a punter.
The hold was good.
No, it's not.
I thought
there was another play earlier in the game though where the punter, actually saved it from a shitty snap, and Carlson hit it. So that time it just didn't work.
Andy in the chat. Jesse Minter, I think, is already going to the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh. I'm pretty sure that's already been kind of, because that's who I would want, honestly. I'd like Jesse Minter is my number one, and then is it Evero in
Panthers.
Carolina?
Yeah,
that's my number two. Don't give me Rex Ryan. Fucking don't give me Rex Ryan. I don't want to bring. I don't want to bring another clown show.
That exactly is what it is too. It's a clown show. If we get Rex Ryan, which we probably 95% won't, 99. I don't give a fuck about what the hard knocks rules are. Put us on there, because Rex Ryan, as much of a clown show he is, he will make great TV.
It's just gonna be every fucking week. Every press conference is gonna be the Rex Ryan comedy hour. I don't want that. He thinks now that he's been on ESPN, he can be Mr. Yuck Yuck all the time, and he's not. He's not. Like, I don't want that. Like, bring in somebody that isn't trying to do a tight five for the Chuckle House. Like, let's get somebody in here that is gonna do it right.
Tight five for the Chuckle House. The fuck is that?
Oh,
That's why Todd's internet was so shitty. He was trying to.
He's been photoshopping for the last.
He's been photoshopping the last 10 minutes.
One, thank you for giving me credit that I know how to use Photoshop. That's Instagram.
Yeah. Apologies.
Okay, I will pay the tab here now.
Yep, you're up.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no other option.
Well, I was just making sure because Todd's internet thing threw me off for a minute there. I kind of
you act like this is the first time anybody's had bad internet on this show.
That's the first time I can remember.
Usually it's Jimmy, and I can roll with that a little bit easier. Todd is usually the rock that I anchor this show,
which is wild because I live in my car.
I don't like you're pushing me to the side stuff so much lately, Dan. Tweet the other day, your mean comment right there. Real dick.
Okay. Can I continue, or do you need to?
Yeah, I think you're fine to move on, Dan.
Cool. I completely forgot about this. It blocked it out of my brain until somebody mentioned the offsides thing. The referees need to have a pay the tab here, because this game was not won or lost based on referee calls. They never are. But the fact that on a 4th and inches play, you have multiple defensive linemen lined up clearly offsides, when I'd like to go back to week 7, week 8, when offensive linemen and wide receivers left and right are getting called for offsides because it's a point of emphasis this year. Well, apparently the point of emphasis ended on that fucking play. So The fact
before
that
that. Before that play.
Josh Myers is getting two offsides calls this year, and
Wasn't that I thought it was Runyon.
Yeah.
was it Runyon?
Yeah. Don't interrupt him
Josh
when he's
got-
on a heater, Jimmy.
Runyon got the
Let him
two
go.
offsides. Didn't Josh get one too as
You
well?
joined me. I don't
Either
think so.
way, when it's that clear and obvious that they are all completely lined up offsides, you need to make that call. I don't care what the situation is, what it is. Go back to the fucking 2016 AFC Championship game where Tom Brady's ass gets saved because Chris Jones was slightly offsides. Yeah, I just that one really irked me because especially because it was a point of emphasis all year long up until that moment.
Yeah,
I
I'm
would
just
do it's a
tired
great
of
question. Josh Myers, he had something. He had he had two things that came up that it was some weird point of emphasis thing this year.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Kelsey had a couple, but I didn't know. Not Josh Meyer.
Josh had a couple of them. Somebody look it up. Matt,
I won't.
I'm just irritated that we're in the year 2024.
No, Andy, he didn't move the ball. He looked up. He looked up. That's what it was. They called him.
Oh, yes.
That's what they called him for. Either way, stupid. Sorry, Todd.
How are we still relying on 65-year-old dudes standing on the side of the field to throw the ball to another 65-year-old dude in the middle of the field to get the spot right? You're telling me we can't put a sensor in the ball to tell us where that's supposed to get spotted?
In the ball. They have sensors in the ball.
Then what are we doing?
You don't even need sensors. You just
well, not for that call, no, but for spotting the ball in general.
But you don't even need it for that.
Okay, elaborate. I
No,
know you don't need it
that's all
because they've been doing it without it for a century.
No. What I'm saying is you don't even need some new technology. The technology already exists. It's used in tennis. It's used in soccer. You just have cameras that triangulate the position of the ball and can place it at a pinpoint spot on the field.
How are you going to do that though? Don't you need, if you're going like a QB sneak, if all those bodies are piling up on each other, don't you kind of need a sensor in the ball though to know where that? Because how are cameras going to figure out where that ball is under a pile of people?
Yeah,
I
hate to say this, Jimmy's got a really good point.
Yeah, I know, because I'm super fucking
smart.
I'm
not saying I'm against the chip idea. I love the chip idea.
It sounds like you hate it, but
I'm just saying.
No, I get it. Most of your type of people are really anti anything progressive, so I get that.
Bill Paz talking about shouldn't Matt make aware the refs pre-snap they were offsides. The problem is you can't do that because the snap happened so quick. They were trying to catch them. Wasn't it a quick snap?
They went. They went
quick. There's no, but still, that is a. It's not like trying to see if somebody lined up an illegal formation or something. It's offside. You're looking right down the fucking line.
And also, that's just not Matt's job. He has so much other shit to worry about. The last thing he's looking at is the defensive alignment on that play.
I really hope that is sarcasm from True North.
I would assume so. Where were they at on the field? Because if LaFleur's got to be
11,
LaFleur can't be down that far.
Stops at what, the 25 or 20?
The 20, I think.
Yeah.
I don't even think that first one though. I don't think that was I know the second one was a hurry up. I don't even know if that first one was.
But you know what? At the end of the day, here's the real true issue.
Shouldn't have fucking mattered.
It shouldn't have fucking mattered.
Yeah.
You're a goddamn NFL offensive line with what is he, 6'5" athletic quarterback that isn't Aaron Rodgers afraid to sneak up the middle of the middle of the line, get a fucking 5-inch run when you need
Maybe
it.
if Jordan Love would have been in the weight room, being a workout warrior all summer instead of on a boat partying it up.
No red solo cups this year, Jordan.
I'll tell you this much: if Justin Fields was, never mind. I couldn't even feign that they could be in the divisional round of the playoffs. With the Falcons, maybe he could get there.
All right, what's the next
Andy,
part? Don't take the Broncos lightly. Are we to that point yet?
Defense gets paid too. I understand that, but like, it's 5 fucking inches. You shouldn't be in a situation.
Hey,
to
whoa.
leave that
5 inches is a lot, Dan. That's huge.
But also, it is the play that teams have been focusing on trying to figure out how to stop.
Refs
Like,
have
we
also
saw
been focused on not being offsides on that.
And we saw the Buccaneers stop the epitome of that play with Jalen Hurts just the week before. So it's like, yeah, they should have made it, but also like that's been such a huge focus on defenses to figure out how to stop that play.
I'm not saying, but here's the thing. I'm not saying it has to be that play. It's 5 inches. You should be able to find a way to pick
I think
that
you're
up.
greatly underestimating how far and how big 5 inches is. It's massive.
Okay. Because it is the end of the season, that means next week is our last show, our season culmination episode, which also means submissions are now open for the 4th annual Lombardi Awards. You can vote for MVP of the season, best newcomer, best guest, show MVP. I'm sure Todd will win it, and it'll just be Todd's award for lifetime at that point.
That's
But
fair.
the voting form is officially open. We'll have winners next week. And there's also some other fun little questions in there as well that I'd love to see what people answer. But the one answer that nobody had an answer for too, that god damn it.
Smooth transition, dog. Dan just fired himself because you know what Dan just did?
I took
you know
the
what?
Broncos.
You just took the Broncos lightly.
God damn it, guys.
You can't take the Broncos lightly, Dan, and you did.
It's been on the sheet. It's been on the sheet for nigh on.
You looked at it and you said,
season.
you know what? It's just the Broncos. I can take it lightly. I don't need to prepare my transition into it.
Yeah.
You took them lightly, Dan.
Did. God damn it. God fucking damn it. We are not going to be naming it the Todd Varney Award.
What if I die?
I'll celebrate, but I won't change the name.
I don't have any bar bets for this week because I just want to know what your Super Bowl prediction is because we're coming up on championship week. I don't want to talk about what do we talk about? What's the prediction? What's a prediction for the Packers before the draft? Joe Barry's already been fired. We're not worried about a quarterback going on a trip to see the Space Coyote.
We really didn't touch on that, did we?
No,
what?
Zero mention until really right now.
Well, we talked about replacements and everything.
We've talked about firing his replacement more than we've talked about him getting fired. The one time that news breaks before our show, and we're just like, we don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah, I'm not smart enough to name any replacements.
Trust me. None of those replacements that I even mentioned are my own idea. It's just groupthink of what everyone else says are good picks.
Honestly, like coordinators to me is just like the draft of like whoever's brought in, I'll just root for, but I have zero preference on who they bring in. I don't
realistically,
know.
I will be on their side, supporting the decision for the first 3 weeks. And then after that, I will be over them.
Like this really has to be. I understand people say like it's an attractive job because of love and the offense is good. It's a young team, but
Well,
also
there's a lot
like
of stuff on the defense.
yeah, there's a lot of talent on the defense, but you are going to get relentlessly shit on from the jump.
A conversation that I was having earlier today that I don't know that I ever really thought about before, but I wonder how much of LaFleur hiring Barry was also to insulate himself from being overthrown when Rodgers was still here, making sure that there wasn't a coordinator capable to step in and fill your shoes if Rodgers decided to start tanking again, like he did with McCarthy. And now that it's
Now
now that
like
you've got
Hackett though, Hackett would have been that. Like there was a world where he could have been like, look, I want Hackett as a head coach.
But I don't think that would have like at that point in time. I don't think that's where LaFleur was, where Rodgers was going to say like fire this guy. Rodgers knew he didn't have that kind of steam, but if the offense was falling apart and they decided to fire LaFleur, I don't know that the organization would have thought that the people under LaFleur were capable of being the head coach at that point, even on an interim level. And so, like, part of me thinks that this is probably the first time that LaFleur, like, he can actually go get somebody that he wants, that he doesn't have to worry about them taking over because he knows he's got a quarterback who's bought into the system, who's going to ride with him. Like, he doesn't have to worry about the weird shit happening behind the scenes.
I really don't think that had anything to do with it. I think they tried Jim Leonard. He said no, and he just fell back into he's buddies with Sean McVay, worked with him in the past. That
Jim Leonard
defense
was also a guy that wouldn't have been given an interim coaching job.
Yeah, but it also was more of a change up of rather than just hiring in the NFL people. Like it was a college guy that they could have brought in, and then he just fell back to a guy that was on the Rams under a really good defense with Brandon Staley, who is a hot name right now, someone close to him, the Vic Fangio scheme. Like, I think it was just like well, fuck, my number one wasn't there. Here's one that my buddy vouches for. I've seen what he can do. He worked for a good defense and they brought him in. Like, I think he had nothing. I think
if you've seen what he could do as a DC, his DC resume wasn't good though. That's the thing.
But that was years ago. Like, it's all recency bias. Like
any time he was a DC, anywhere he was at. And
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand
it wasn't that long.
Detroit,
he was only off for what, like 2 years between in Washington and Green Bay job.
Well, he sucked in Detroit and he sucked in the Commanders, but then he was on a team that had
for
great
like a year or two.
That's what I said with recency bias.
But he wasn't the DC.
Time.
He wasn't the DC.
The DC there got taken to be a head coach, so he went to his second option, who's on that squad.
What I'm saying is that Joe Barry, as a DC, never had a good resume. Was never good, and you can say recency bias, but it was only 2 years in between when he was a DC in Washington and when he got the Packers job.
Those 2 years are the definition of recency bias. Like you're skipping, but that's what I'm talking about.
Or it's a trend. You said it had been a long time. It had only been 2 years.
That's all you need in the NFL to change the perspective of you. Look at Dan Quinn, got fired in the Falcons, had 2 great years in the Cowboys, and now he's a head coach candidate. Like, that's all you need is 2 good years to turn your whole fucking.
Is he a good head coach candidate, though? No, he's still a bum head coach. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to walk in and turn an organization around. He's going to get hired by he's going to get hired by a bad organization and fired again within 4 or 5 years.
You are proving my point that 2 years is changing somebody who was a shit head coach. 2 good years is changing it to now he's getting hired for another job, regardless of what happens at that point.
So Joe Barry was a good hire in Green Bay because of what he did.
Come out of my mouth
because of what he did in LA that erased everything previous to that.
You know what you're doing. You're just spinning the shit I said. I'm saying it takes 2 good years at your job. 2 good years at your job to get hired. The hiring could be good, could be fucking Nathaniel Hackett was fired from or taken away from Jacksonville. Was not good in Jacksonville.
I'm not saying that it's not
here and then moved on.
I'm not saying that 2 good years can't change it. But what I was saying is that him as a DC was never good, ever.
Yeah,
And
I'm
you
not
act and you
arguing
act like him. You act like him being a good positional coach in LA
was the reason he got hired.
Just obviously, it's a reason he got hired. But you act like that just erased everything that he had done previously.
We understand what recency bias means, right?
Yes.
You go based off the last couple years, and that's what you focus on. So I'm so confused on what this other shit we're talking about is. I'm saying those 2 years
because you're
where he
just
did
like
good,
you're
changed
acting
it.
like everything he did as a DC prior to Green Bay doesn't matter because of 2 years as a position coach in LA.
Within the hiring process, that is the reason he got hired. Those 2 good years. So I guess I'm confused on what I don't know what we're trying to argue right now. I'm not saying that his defensive coordinator time had any say in why he got hired. I'm saying those 2 good years was the reason he got hired. Matt LaFleur didn't go like, hey, you know what? 0-16 Lions, that's why I want to hire this guy. The Commanders, that's why I want to hire this guy. He looked at
But
those
I think he
good
looked.
years.
I think he looked at that body of work and said, "Here's the guy that they're not going to give an interim title to fire me."
Oh, we're a fucking galaxy bringing that right now. I don't think LaFleur's thought was, hey, let me hire a coordinator who won't replace me if Rodgers gets mad. That is just a failure of a head coach from the jump. Like that, no, that's nonsense.
I mean, when you look at who were his options.
He could have had Evero. He passed on him. He offered Jim Leonard. He said no. Like
Evero, who's getting head coaching or
now, yeah, but he passed on him too.
Weird.
What does that have to do with it? You said who were his options. I just named his options. I'm not saying Barry was the best. Obviously, it didn't work out. I feel like you're just blind to argue just to argue, but you're just like anything you're throwing at me right now has nothing to do with what I'm saying.
I don't know. I had a theory. I guess it was wrong.
Yeah. I'm not. Yes, it was
terrific. Matt, why don't you come in here and interrupt this, please?
Yeah, I'm busy going through my Green Bay Packer playing cards.
We see that. Good job.
It was fun.
Hey, producer Matt's here.
I haven't opened this thing in nigh on a decade.
Damn, producer Matt's here. We're gonna do a different thing now.
That's a good bit, Dan. I actually like that you're just kind of doing that in the background. I enjoyed that.
Thanks.
Hey guys. So I'm here to announce the final scores on the bar bets, which I've been keeping track of throughout the whole entire season. So a lot of times I think people might accuse me of being a Todd loyalist. If I am, it's for good reason, by the way. But I will say that the numbers, the cold hard numbers really bear out the reason why, we all know that Todd is the MVP, because coming in first in the 2023 season, Lombardi with 90 points. Keep that number in mind. 90 points. Okay. Todd had 90. The next closest.
Who was second?
Jimmy. Yeah.
Wait, what?
I did half the fucking shows and still beat you, Dan. So suck a dick.
Yeah,
No,
Jimmy had.
I won the regular season. We talked about this.
Regular season,
anything,
and you didn't, by the way. But I can do the numbers.
I didn't finish. I finished second in the regular season.
Oh yeah, sure.
It doesn't matter.
But, yeah,
we went till now. The season's over now. I'm second place.
Dan, whether you won the regular season or not,
Jimmy got a fucking bye to the conference championship.
But the point gap, Dan. This is the thing. So Todd had 90 by the end. If we're counting the postseason, right, or the playoffs, that is, Jimmy's
which
at
I think we should
20. There's a difference of 70 points. I mean,
Jimmy did half the shows. Also, this is Todd's first win. Let's not hype this up too much. 1-3 is all I'm saying. I'm 3-1. So suck a dick.
So I mean, including the playoffs, then Dan, I mean, you're just behind Jimmy at 18, which stinky.
You should just
That's
bet
stinky,
0,
man.
dude.
We ended after the regular season. Jimmy got a 2 week
I wasn't here
bye.
for it.
I'm still putting my fucking nuts on the line.
You made some crazy bets, though. I mean, you have to admit that.
Because it was house money. We were done. I finished second. I was
What's
safe.
the point of doing the bar bets if they don't count at that point? You got to just roll with them.
Entertainment. That's what it is, Jimmy.
No, I don't believe in that. I think
I'm looking at the numbers now. I can tell you what the score was
This is where
at
we
the
are.
end of the regular season.
Okay, fine.
Irrelevant.
Let me see what that was. Just a sec.
That counts for anything, but
I'm closing the Lombardi award voting results, and Dan with 1 vote is the MVP. So suck a fat dick, Chucho.
That's fine with me. I don't care as long as I get second in what we're talking about. I don't care who
Jimmy's
gets
okay with
first.
sucking a fat dick. That's right.
Man, get the fuck out of here!
What were the scores at the end of the regular season?
Regular season.
let the man do math, Dan.
Regular season. It's true. Dan was second, but still, regular season. Todd 70, Dan 40, Jimmy 20.
That's a hell of a lot closer.
I mean, but you choked big time in the playoffs, man. That's ridiculous.
Because I was.
Whose idea was this to
willy-nilly.
bring Matt on? I don't understand what we're doing.
So yeah,
Who do you guys
that's how
think
that-
is making it to the Super
that's
Bowl?
fair.
Who's making the Super Bowl? Who's winning this weekend?
I'm
taking 49ers Ravens.
Yeah.
I hope the Lions, but yeah, I think it's gonna be 49ers Ravens.
I hope the Lions choke in incredible fashion.
Absolutely, just get spanked.
Fucking spanked.
We're all team Ravens for the Super Bowl, though, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I would like to see Lamar win one. I'm okay if the Chiefs win another one.
See, I honestly, if it's Ravens, Lions, I personally don't care who. Like, I'm fine with the Lions winning. I know it's division rival, blah blah blah. It's different for me. I don't live in the city. So I have to say that if I lived there like you did and have to deal with them a lot more, I would not want it.
Every
But
fucking day.
I just for that city being hot fucking garbage for years, and I don't know. They had the Michigan thing, but who fucking cares about college football?
It's gonna get vacated soon enough. Don't worry.
Everyone
Jim
steals signs, dude. Everyone steals signs. If you're not stealing signs, you're not trying.
Well, and imagine you beat Penn State and Ohio State without your head coach, knowing that you're being looked at, so you're definitely not stealing signs. And then you do what they did in the playoffs. That's the most legitimate national championship I think I've ever seen.
It'll still get vacated because the NCAA is
that
nothing
a real
if
thing
not
they'll do?
vindictive.
They don't. I mean, vacate. They don't vacate national championships that much.
Have they ever given Reggie Bush's Heisman back? Because honestly,
No.
if it comes to college football, that's all I care about.
They've vacated full seasons. They will do it if they are nothing if not emotional.
So what would they do? Just chalk the whole season up as just bullshit and say none of it matters?
Every game would go down as a forfeit by the.
So then they would actually put Washington. That's who they beat, right? Washington.
They
I'm
wouldn't
not sure how they
give
would do that. Yeah, I think the title would just be vacated.
That is the dumbest shit in the world. You know other teams are taking signs.
Yeah.
Also, if you're keeping the
Michigan
same
got caught.
signs week to week, that's your own fucking fault. Switch it up.
I don't disagree that everyone steals signs or that there's not rampant cheating all over the world.
But it's Michigan and you're an
this
Ohio
is a
State
team
fan,
I fucking hate, and so fuck them.
And now I respect it. And now I agree with you. That's all you had to say from the jump. And now I'm on your side. So, a real question though.
Purely on emotion.
Do you hate the Chargers now because Jim Harbaugh's there, or do you just not care because it's not Michigan?
No, I don't care. I hate Michigan. I wish the whole.
Well, I just didn't know if
Michigan
when people left Michigan, if you just still didn't like them.
Well, I don't like Jim Harbaugh. I think he's a
listening.
bag.
Hold on. The irony of listening to an Ohio State fan whine about another team cheating is just fucking chef's kiss.
Did Ohio State cheat?
When did Ohio State cheat?
All the time. Why do you think Urban Meyer left?
He was finger banging people.
That was after he left.
That was
Urban Meyer had a medical issue. That was
Hey,
Jim Tressel.
I don't.
Herpes is real.
When did Jim Tressel?
Okay,
I don't know who that is.
Enjoy your delusions, Dan.
A couple players got free tattoos.
Terrell Pryor.
Yeah, it's not cheating.
Did you ever hear the audio of Troy Smith's DUI? If you haven't, that is something.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah,
that is by far my favorite DUI audio.
Are you thinking about Troy Smith or JT Barrett?
Whichever one. I think Troy Smith.
Are you talking about like when he was in school?
No, it was after he left and went to the NFL.
Oh, Then I haven't seen that.
That one is hilarious. But I am gonna look up JT Barrett's now because
JT Barrett's one, I remember I was covering the team, and he got it during their bye week or their off week, and he literally tried to use the excuse of like, don't you guys know who I am? Like, couldn't I just go home? Like, I'm right down the street. I'm like, buddy.
Wouldn't you though? I would
totally
like
would. I totally
Yeah.
would. Yeah, I'm just an idiot. Any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap it up?
No.
Okay.
Next year we got another episode. I'll have final
Vote
thoughts at
in the
next one.
Lombardis. Matt, throw the link back up into the chat. Vote for the Lombardis. So your vote is heard. Make sure you vote for, continue what Andy did and vote for me for MVP. Totally appreciate it, Andy. Appreciate everyone that stopped by in the chat.
When you say you totally appreciate Andy, is this what you're talking about?
No, it's not. Andy's a good bro. I think he's full of shit there. But appreciate everyone that stopped by. Check this out. If you haven't done so, make sure you go and subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get notified every time we go live. We'll be back next week for our final show of the season, a recap, look at the Super Bowl, all of that fun stuff. Matt, producer Matt, behind the scenes, Jimmy, Todd, I'm your bartender, Dan, saying cheers. And as always, go Pack Go.